Hello and welcome to the YouTube channel Becoming Buddy's Dad, and this is a new episode in the podcast series. Before we get started, I'd just like to say thank you to the main sponsors, a company called Spectrum out in Barcelona, who's provided me with the camera for this podcast. I'll cover more about them, who they are and what they do later on. Secondly, I want to just apologise in advance for any swearing that you might hear or might not hear during this recording. We'll try our best to dampen it down, but at the same time I want it to be as true to ourselves as possible. So today I'm delighted, honoured and privileged to have this guest on here today. A very good close friend of mine from my days in Free Para. Was in the same platoon together, machine gun platoon. Went to Afghanistan together, albeit different parts of Afghanistan, but was there at the same time. On leaving the army, he got involved in close protection, operated in some of the most hostile environments on planet at that time. Did a bit for MI5, but we can't speak too much about that. After that, he became and still is a saving firefighter over in the Saddleworth Mall area, and he's recently become an author of his own book, Beyond the Drop Zone, which is that there. If you haven't read this, guys, you need to get out and buy it. It's an awesome book, an awesome read. So without further ado, welcome to the show, Andy Williams.
Thanks, all right, mate. Buddy? Yeah, thanks for the book plug. And, I can't believe it's been, we were saying earlier, nearly 17, 18 years since I last saw you.
Madness, isn't it? Madness, mate. 17 bloody years. Where's that gone, mate?
It's just flown by, hasn't it?
Yeah, so today, mate, I did have a bit of a script, but we're not going to go off the script. It's there as a backup if we start rambling shit. So it's no secret, I'm a recovering alcoholic, mate. Coming 10th of next month, I will have been sober 6 months. So I'm trying on this channel to keep it sort of subject related, mate. And I know alcohol has affected your life directly, indirectly, through family members and your own experiences. So I want to try and keep it the chat subject related if we can, mate, in the hope that we can help others and inspire others. So if you just want to start, mate, and introduce yourself, where you were born, brought up, and I might come in and interrupt and ask questions. We'll just shoot the shit, mate.
Yeah. So I was born on a small seaside town in North Wales.
Shoot, shut it.
Yeah, so I know you can probably tell by my strong Welsh accent, but like most of the lads that join the Paras are from all corners of the UK and the Commonwealth. So yeah, I grew up in North Wales, and it was my childhood was split between North Wales and Saudi Arabia. So very early on, this goes back to alcohol, really. Yeah. My mum was an alcoholic, and she was often quite violent with that as well. And although I was quite young when she left, I remember feeling abandoned. I knew what abandonment felt like, and it sounds
very young as well.
Yeah, I think I was 4, 5, so it's strange, really, because I don't really remember her before that. I was kind of invisible to her, but I remember that feeling of not being wanted and feeling abandoned
as well. Yeah,
and so when she left, she just one day, just decided to leave. And my dad, he lived and worked in Saudi. So my sister, she was barely a teenager, we went to Saudi to live for a year.
Right.
And that was the plan. We were going to live out there, and I was going to go to an international school. And when she got to the age of 16, she wanted to be back in, in the UK with her friends, like most teenagers do. And so we decided we were going to move back to North Wales, and we were in an old council. How
old were you then, mate? Had you decided to come back?
When we came back, I was just five or six. We were only there for an hour for a year, and then she wanted to be back with her friends like most teenagers. So she was very young. So she was just turned 17, and she was my mum. Almost overnight. So it was a
big responsibility for her to take so young as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. So she gave up her childhood to raise me as her own. And although I didn't realise it at the time, I was sort of forever in debt for her for that. It was tough. But I didn't really know any different. When you're that age, you just sort of you know what you know.
Well, I read it in your book. The ambulance coming and the regular phoning ambulance for your mum and that one.
Yeah. So I've got vague memories of certain incidents I was involved with, and then there was a time where. So she disappeared for years and years, and then she came back into the town when I was a teenager, but I never saw her, and there was just no emotional connection there, which is quite sad, really. But I didn't know anything different. And quite often the memories that I do have of her weren't great ones. Just alcoholism, and I didn't realise it at the time, but I do think that I had that predisposition to alcoholism from a young age. And like everybody, when you're growing up and you first discover going out and drinking, I was always the one that would take it too far and drink too much.
Sounds a bit familiar, that, mate.
And then, I've thought about this quite a lot, because, I'd say there's a common trend in units, like the units we serve with, and I would never, the responsibility sits with me, but I think it's the type of people that it attracts, because, it's a melting pot of young lads from all corners of the UK and the Commonwealth. A lot of the time they're from rough parts of the UK.
Council estates.
Yeah, and I know...
They met the best soldiers, though, under the council estate, lads.
They do.
I'm saying that because I'm one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And for me, I was desperately wanted to feel like I belonged to something. I wanted that feeling of doing something meaningful and that sense of belonging. So you're an ideal candidate for...
It's a double-edged weapon, though, isn't it? When you lose it,
It is, yeah.
When you're in belonging to someone and then you haven't got it anymore. But we'll get onto that later on, right?
Yeah.
So you're back in UK with your sister.
Yeah.
I believe you got into kickboxing and that, did you? Boxing?
Yeah, so because I didn't, like so many of the lads that joined the army, I didn't have a role model figure, I didn't have a dad around.
Found that in the gym then?
So, and there was a boxing gym opened. We never had a car, so I could run to this gym, and the coach took a liking to me, and I just really enjoyed the physical side of it and the mental side of it.
That put you in good stead for later on, didn't it? And all that shite.
Yeah, and then my sister, she married at a really young age. And when I was probably about 14, 15, and she pretty much moved out of the flat we were living in. So I was living on my own, and I used to bunk off school, but rather than go and get into trouble, I used to go and train and get fit, and carrying logs on the beach and putting rocks in a day sack and running up the mountain.
Skiving school to do that. People sky school round here at Sniff Glow, I think. They're not running about with rucksacks on.
But what I didn't realise at the time was that it put me in the perfect position to join, because I joined at 16. which is obviously the youngest you could join. And I could have gone in earlier and gone to the Army Foundation College, but I wanted to just hang on that extra bit of time and go straight into, you know, the sausage factory, as they used to call it. Yeah. But it put me in a good position because I was already living on my own. So at 16, I could cook for myself. I could maintain a house. I was fit. I had no time.
Everything Army's looking for, isn't it, really?
Yeah. And I didn't miss home, and I had no. It was just sort of, I was just suited for that.
Yeah, what were your days like over in Saudi then, mate? Can you remember them well?
Yeah.
Did you have a good lifestyle? Good.
So it was different because this is Saudi in the late 80s, early 90s. So it was a lot more conservative than what it is now. And what I mean by that is that there was the infamous Khobar tower bombings by Iranian-backed Hezbollah in the mid-90s. There was public executions that still went on in the city centres. Yeah. And I never witnessed one, but I remember seeing the crowds of people in the market area, you know, and I'm like,
he take his kids to the cinema, they take the kids. So somebody's head get chopped off.
So when I first went out there, it was just a big adventure. But then, so when we came back to Wales, I would go back every year up until the age of about 14, and I'd spend 2 months over the summer there. So I'd always miss like the back end of school.
You maintained a relationship with your dad through it all, yeah?
Yeah, it was distant, and you know, he was kind of like on the periphery of my life, but going out there, it kind of gave me that sense of adventure and, you know, seeing the world and all that, and fascinating place. But we were just confined to a western compound, so we didn't really go outside the gates or anything. There was a swimming pool and a restaurant, and all the Westerners that lived and worked in Saudi were there, you know. So yeah, it was just like a big adventure, really, but hot.
So when did you decide to join the Reg then, mate?
So when I was probably start high school, I was desperate to get out of North Wales.
Yeah.
You know, like a lot of lads, I was just searching for something a bit more, and there wasn't a massive amount of opportunity.
Was a Pala Reg in your recruitment centre, were there?
No. So I had an older brother, and he left home before
I
remember
left.
Yeah, so he is about 16 years older than me. So he joined the Marines when he was 17. So I must have been, I was really young at the time, I don't remember it, but I remember him being away, and he'd come back off leave and he'd tell me about the Marines and stuff, and then I'd always thought that was the direction I was going to go in. But then when I joined the Army Cadets when I was 12, and you start to learn more about the different areas of the Army and
which way you were wanting to go.
Yeah, and I had loads of books and magazines, and I was fascinated with being in the Army, you know, and reading like stories about operations in the Malayan jungles and the Falklands and all that sort of stuff. And I remember reading about the paras, and there was just something about the idea of throwing yourself out of a plane, a maroon beret, you know, all the accolades of the Falklands and Arnhem, and I just thought I didn't want to just copy my brotber.
Well, he went down like a fart in a lift, and you tell him you're going in bed.
Yeah,
that was quite interesting at family get-togethers, wasn't it?
Do you know what? I wrote him a letter.
Bit of banter and that.
But even when I was in, but he was always like really proud. He came to my pass out parade, and I think I was more suited to life in the paras.
Yeah.
You know.
So what platoon intake were you on then?
I was
Crow effect.
I know, yeah. Well, I know I was a few years after you. 4-6. I think it was 469.
What?
I've got this wrong in the past, but it was.
I was 668. So.
Oh no, weren't that then? 679.
679.
Yeah, 679.
Jumped 200 platoons.
The memory's going. But I think what was interesting for us was the planes went into the Twin Towers in.
I was in depot, at Captrick on Naffy Brett when we seen
Oh,
them.
right, yeah.
And the full fucking security heightened.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fucking mad event, that, wasn't it? I think
So-
it shaped rest of the world for us, didn't it, when
Yeah.
we started serving
Oh,
them?
yeah. For us, I think we couldn't have... You know, we joined at a golden era, really.
Yeah.
The start of, you know, the initial Afghan invasion, then into Iraq. We still had the tail end.
Were you on, sorry mate for cutting it out, were you on Tele 1, were you? Or were you after that?
No, so I was in battalion for Telit 1. So I got to battalion in the start of 02, and the battalion were just
We went in
gearing up.
03, didn't we?
But I was 17.
You weren't allowed to go.
Yeah, so I mean, you can imagine. So I got to battalion, B company.
Bit of a kicking bollocks.
Oh, so all the battalion
Rear
was
party.
away, rear party. Yeah, and do you know what? They got back. I can't remember what month he got back, but it weren't long.
I can't remember, to be fair.
Uh,
It would end at summer, I think.
Yeah, and I was 18 not long after, so I just missed out.
The worst time to be a red ass.
I know,
I mean,
yeah.
you got some right shit, didn't you?
Oh, you can imagine, can't you? Like all your training, and you know the first time that the battalion had been to the Middle East, to the desert in God knows how long, and I missed out.
You got to be careful what you wish for, like, and when
yeah.
Afghan reared its head up, but we'll get onto that in a minute, like, but
Yeah,
I bet that was a kicking knackers, that, watching everybody fuck off there.
yeah, big time. And luckily, I got a chance to go, and I spent years there as a civilian. But you know, it would have been good.
Oh, in the close protection role.
Yeah. But I would have liked to have been on the invasion, but I just
Mate,
I was
what?
17. I won't let you go.
We invaded it in 4-ton trucks, pal. Getting gas every 3 seconds, which is all fun until someone shat in my respirator. But I'll cover that in another podcast. But I had a white shit that had been about 6 months old, mate, in my lens. On first gas.
Did you ever find out who the culprit was?
No, but I had it on the back of this truck, and I was like, when we get the all clear, you're all fucking getting it out. I'll cover that another time. So yeah, go on, Andy, mate. You're a battalion. We've been to Iraq.
Yeah.
So do you want to take us a bit further in, matey?
Yeah, and I think what helped me kind of like integrate into battalion life was I got scouted for the boxing team.
Yeah.
Quite early on, because I'd done a bit.
I did 2 months in there.
And I think that helped me, because obviously you're mixed with people from all over the battalion, and we had a good team, a really good team.
Proper grafters.
Yeah,
your own scoff times. You're on your bet. Mind you, you did 3 sessions a day though, wasn't it? Fitness wise.
And I think like the weight cutting, there was no science behind it. You'll know yourself. You were just told that I was a welterweight, so 69 kilo. There was no,
I would have cracking. I joined team and got my jaw broke about 3 weeks later. Cracking boxer. Not boxing, I got it broke at home. That's another story anyway. Sorry, Andy, go on.
And it was tough. Like, so we had 2 string welterweights, and there was some good fighters in there, like Pete Priest. You'll remember?
Priest, Terry Mitten and that.
Yeah, Terry was. I think he was lightweight.
I used to spar with him. I think I was like 85 kilogram.
85, yeah.
So he must have been round that region. But he was only small for it, wasn't he?
Yeah, a hell of a fighters. Davey Pat.
Mark Stanyan.
Oh yeah, Mark.
I still have contact with him now and again.
Earnshaw. Absolute unit. But yeah, so to get on the team, you had like the sparring sessions were like a boxing bout.
Yeah, they took them off the company. You'd have company fights, didn't you? And then they take all the best out of them, didn't they? Made a battalion one, didn't they?
Yeah, so I got voluntold to go on the company one.
Voluntold. Yeah, I like that one.
And B company won it, and then from that did the battalion boxing.
We boxed that off, didn't we, for years, man? We were unbearable, weren't we? Especially when I was in on.
Yeah.
I can remember reading it carried on for a few years after I'd gone.
I think someone will probably correct me now, but I'm sure from that first year of us winning it, which was 2003, I want to say, I'm sure three Para were undefeated for over 10 years.
Bloody hell.
Army boxing champions, had a hell of a team.
Great boxing team, wasn't it? Some good boxing nights, wasn't there?
Yeah.
I had obviously my dad was like ex-regiment Para.
Yeah.
Obviously died now, bless him, but I had the privilege of inviting him down to a boxing event down in Colchester just before he died.
Yeah.
And that's one of my fondest memories, man. Watching, because he'd never been around Reg blokes in Sleeving, so putting him in a room with all us, man, he's just grinning ear to ear watching it like. And then he got invited back to Sergeant's Mess and I wasn't allowed in. He was like laughing at me and at the door, the dickhead. But anyway, sorry, go on.
Brilliant, yeah. Brilliant. No, yeah, so you had a brilliant cracking team, and then after a year, I had the options to go on and do the individuals and box for the army.
Yeah.
But the battalion were gearing up for a Northern Ireland deployment. I don't know if, because what were you before? Guns?
I was A Company before Guns. So I will have been in A Company. No, I did the Guns cadre out in Iraq on the peacetime phase.
Ah, right, yeah.
So I pretty much joined Guns on back end of 2003. So, yeah, Northern Ireland started coming in then, didn't it? We were only doing 2 months. Ballykelly, were you on that one?
It was West Belfast for the marching season.
Ah, yeah. I didn't go there.
Riots.
You were with Dollard and that out there, weren't you?
Yeah, so Dollard was C Company, I went with B Company, but it was good. Dollard, so obviously we both...
Just for viewers, we've all got crazy nicknames in the army. Mine was Al, but I hadn't heard it for many a year until I bumped into him today. But yeah, Dollard were one of the lads.
So Dollard, obviously we were in Guns with him together. I didn't know his real name until
Ewan McGregor,
years after. I just knew him as Dollard.
I thought he would take your piss when he said it was Ewan McGregor.
I know, but bloody hell. Yeah, and so Northern Ireland was good. It was a good chance to sort of integrate yourself in the platoon. Done a...
You had a few hairy moments out there though, didn't you, on riots? Didn't they infiltrate all your vehicles? And
there was a time...
Dollard told me he cocked his rifle and everything. Yeah. His wagon, So
Peter
Bloody Sunday nearly won it.
I know. Yeah, so it was... I'm going back a few years now, but from what I remember, our area of operations was it was too big for company strength or whatever it was, and we pretty much were overrun by protesters, and and the PSNI were the ones that helped get us out. But there were a few occasions where there was a guy in C Company who got a citation for not using his rifle where he probably would have been justifiable in using it, because he was dragged into the crowd.
I remember CO at the time praising everybody for how we handled it, because they were scared it were going to be another bloody Sunday, weren't they?
Yeah, and it would have, this is
just unstabilised it all, wouldn't it? If shots were fired,
So the Good Friday Agreement was 1998. This was 2003, 2004. Would have put the
put that on its ass, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. So Northern Ireland.
So, we're alcohol then. So, obviously, I spoke about it in previous podcasts.
Yeah.
The alcohol culture in the army is massive, isn't it? It probably still is. I mean. Especially when we were back in block, mate, that's all we did, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So, looking back on it, I've shared it before, I've always had a problem with my drinking, when I look back at it. I'm just wondering if you go to add on the alcohol side of things in army, or if indeed you ever had a problem with alcohol, mate.
Yeah, I think, the answer is I definitely did.
Yeah.
And I think with life in battalion, it is, I think it's like a world of extremes, or it was a world of extremes. So you're always trying to one-up someone, if someone does something, you can do it even worse.
Top it.
And you think you've got a bunch of young lads from rough council estates up and down the country.
Fittest alcoholics on planet.
Yeah, fit, full of testosterone. You're in the paras because you want to be the best, the fittest, the most aggressive, and then you add alcohol to that.
Yeah,
you know,
it's dramas, isn't it?
Yeah, and so absolutely. But you don't. It was kind of like masked in the army because you know yourself. You still, if you're drinking all night, you're still getting up and running 10 miles the next day.
Yeah, you could do it, couldn't you? Definitely.
And then what I found was that when I left the army, that alcohol was still there. That relationship I had with it was not healthy. And whenever anything bad happened in my life, that was like my
comfort blanket.
Yeah, and you know, I'd always noticed that when, you know, if I was out, I'd always be the one that would drink the most and would not want to go home and be out the longest. And I think, if I'm honest with myself, I always knew that wasn't healthy. You know, you get away with it in the army because there's 10, 20 other blokes like you.
Yeah.
But then when you get put onto civilian street,
and you've got structure as well to keep the lid on you, haven't you?
Yeah.
Whereas out of that, there's nobody stopping you from going west, is there? And fucking totally losing your brain. And
the army looks after you in a sense of, you know, and we've all done it. You live like a rock star for a weekend.
You know, I was skint there.
And then you're scratching your arse for...
I owed all my wages on crates. So in army, Andy will tell you, if you fuck up in army, you get billed crates. And what we do is you cash them crates in the end of every month for a company piss up, and I used to owe about fucking 20 crates by end of, because I was an admin fucking nightmare. I was like,
there's a brilliant story I remember about you, and it's still
family watches these.
It still tickles me.
Go on, mate. Go on. What is it?
And any Reg blokes watching it will be howling at this.
Do you want to dress as Beetlejuice or something?
No. And it was, and you might be able to fill in the blanks because my memory's a bit vague, but as we know, there was a thing called a shelling.
Yeah.
So you'd pick up a £70 one bat shell, brass, solid wood, you know, and you'd get beasted with it when you're up and down the parade square in your number 2 dress.
Corrective PT, they're called.
and it was always funny, obviously, if you weren't the one being shelled, because you'd look out the windows and you'd be laughing at the bloke getting shelled on the square. And you got shelled for something. It might have been being late for parade or not shaving or something, and then we had a block inspection, and someone
shat in the
toilet, left
bastard.
a turd in the toilet.
Yeah, CO walked. Well, I'll let you tell it. So the CO walked in to inspect it, and they went into the toilet, and there's a fucking turtle's head looking him in the eyes. So RSM at time just went into full spaz mode. And said, I want a name for this shit. So nobody would obviously own up for it, so we settled it with a coin flick. Live by the coin, die by the coin sort of thing. We called it a man's flick, didn't we?
Yeah.
And it was last man standing flicking this coin, and yours truly fucking lost. So I had to go down to the guard room. It was Dean Kerrigan as Provost Sergeant at the time. I've come to own up for that shit I haven't even done. And I got fucking hammered, mate, for best part of an hour. He had me pulling a trailer around.
But
everybody fucked off at 12, stand down, and were beeping horns at me out car. Yeah. I'm going up and down main drag with this fucking trailer on my own, breathing out my arse.
The iron lung.
The iron lung wasn't full whack then, like, yeah.
But it was either that time or another occasion where you got shelled twice in a day, and your options were either you get guard duty or you get show clean at 10 o'clock, or you can get shelled again in the afternoon.
I took shelled,
and you were like, I'll see you at 2 o'clock.
Yeah, I don't know, joke, wasn't there? Kerrigan's Bergen, they had my fucking zap number on the gun. T4473 were mine.
I reckon if there was a record for who'd been shelled most of the time, I reckon you'd be on that scoreboard.
I can remember him checking me round back once. We had a fag. He says, "What's the matter with you, like?" Do you like it? And he's a right bloke, he's Dean. I didn't like him at the time for obvious reasons, but he is a right good bloke. I can remember once he just got fed up of seeing me, mate. Just go and splash some water on your face, go back, fucking tell him you've been hammered. It's like, yes, out. But yeah, go on, mate.
So I got to the stage in my life where, having a fast forward a few years, and post Afghan, and we can get into that if you want, but there was a period where I was suffering quite a lot, and I turned to the alcohol, and just too much. It destroyed everything around me, and a lot of your listeners will be able to relate to this. And I always think now that any time in my life where I've been involved in some kind of violence, extreme violence, if I've not been in a war zone or in the boxing ring, it's been when I've been drinking. Yeah. And it's only recently, in the last sort of year or so, that I've had an honest look at myself.
Thing is, you've got to go through all that shit to get where you are now, haven't you? That's how I look at it. Do you know what I mean? Unfortunately, we've all got to hit fucking rock bottom to grow up and to be able to self-reflect properly and honestly. That's what I found anyway. The amount of times I've hit rock bottom and promised myself I'll never get there again, and then I've had to go and fucking do it again. This is the longest run I've been on. I know when we were having dinner there, you touched up on it with your kidneys and what happened in there. I don't know if you want to touch on that again, mate.
Yeah,
if you don't mind, like.
Yeah, so when we come back from the summer 2006 Afghan tour, my world just drastically started falling apart, and I had a whole series of medical problems, and my head wasn't right, and a lot of it came from childhood, and some of the incidents in Afghan didn't help, but so my wife at the time, she was pregnant throughout our whole deployment, so I came back, and within a few weeks I had a son, and so I was like, coming to terms with being a dad, like so many of us were at that time. And then went to the doctors because she was mithering me about getting a checkup, and they told me I had the most aggressive form of skin cancer. So I just become a dad, told me I had skin cancer. They didn't know how far it had spread, but I had to have emergency surgery. So whilst all this was going on, I then started pissing blood. So straight away, mentally, I thought, well, this is me. I'm dead. And I convinced myself that because I managed to survive Afghan, this was how I was meant to die. Yeah. And in a weird way, I came to terms with it. I was just like, well, this is how I'm meant to.
Crack is what your brain can do to you.
Yeah, and I just thought, well, that it's obviously spread to my organs, and this is how I'm going to die. Anyway, it turned out I had the skin cancer removed. I had 3 surgeries, and got sent away to a kidney specialist. They took a biopsy and they diagnosed me with an incurable kidney disease. So they don't know what caused it, but months after we come back from Afghan, I just started pissing blood, and my blood pressure was through the roof. And then, so they basically said that at some point your organs are going to fail. It could be a year's time, it could be 10 years time, we don't know. All we can do is manage the symptoms, and the symptoms were my blood pressure was through the roof, and I used to get bad swelling in my feet. And so I lived with that for nearly 10 years, just managing the symptoms. You know, still drinking and all the rest of it, and my mental health just deteriorated. And you know, looking back now, the alcohol didn't help with that.
No, it just fucking subdues it, doesn't it?
And I just was like numb, emotionally dead inside.
Yeah.
And I just drink. I wasn't sleeping because.
All locked in yourself as well, weren't you, talking to people then?
No one.
So just fucking in your head, that's it.
Yeah, I just sit in the dark, and I was just drinking. I didn't want to sleep because you know, I'd have horrendous nightmares, but I didn't want to be awake, and I was just trapped in this really.
Do you think Afghanistan had contributed to that?
Oh yeah. There was incidents where you know, I was having flashbacks, and I was so like hyperarousal, they call it now. So, well, not they call it now, but that's what I understand it to be, because you're in a heightened state of alertness for so long. Physiologically, I couldn't regulate my emotions, and I was constantly on edge, like so many of us were. And and then I was just abusing alcohol until I passed out, and that was my only
blackout.
Yeah, and that was my only respite that I'd get from the intrusive thoughts I was having.
Yeah, it's fucking killer, isn't it, mate?
Yeah,
it took a lot of lives on it.
Absolutely. You know, even now, I mean, you know, every few weeks, I mean, we could. There's two. I mean, one's too many, but how many lads do we know that have taken their own lives?
Yeah, that's just fucking. I've said it before. The battle often fucking doesn't stop, does it? For a lot of us, like, it's a shame. But thanks a lot for watching part 1, guys. Please stay tuned for part 2, and don't forget to like and subscribe. It just keeps getting better and better, does this podcast. Thanks again to my sponsors, Spectrum. At the end of the series, I give a good spiel up about what they do and provide. Thank you very much. Stay tuned.